When Samsung started teasing the new Galaxy Z Fold, I was looking forward to it, but it was also kind of like, hey, another foldable phone that I probably won't switch to, and you probably thought the same. But then I went hands-on with it, and turns out it reminded me of all the special things I love in my life. Same vibe, same obsession. Okay, not the exact same color, but you get what I mean. So I took the Z Fold 7 home, slapped my SIM in, and pretty much used it for like 100 hours. And in between those 100 hours, I went from, okay, I'll review it, to this is getting exciting, to, yep, I'm switching from my regular phone. Look, I know what you're thinking. It can't be all perfect, right? There must be some doubts. And you're right, there are some doubts. 3 of them actually. I know 2025 is still not done. There's still a lot of time left. But so far, this is my favorite phone of 2025. And here's exactly what went down in those 100 hours. Now, I'm not going to talk about the usual this millimeter, that millimeter specs and stuff, because you already know that. And just like cars, phones don't run on paper. What matters is I've always wanted to switch to a folding phone as my primary for years now. And I really like what Oppo and Vivo were doing with the super slim designs, but it was just the software that kind of held me back. I mean, I've absolutely loved Samsung's One UI, especially on a fold, and I'm sure you know why. But the Samsung folds are always a little impractical with the kind of thickness and weight. But hey, everything changes with the new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Look, the moment you hold it for the very first time, it instantly kicks in on how light this is, how thin this is, and how regular phone-like it feels. I mean, like how the Z Fold 7 in fact weighs less than some of the regular popular phones, be it the S25 Ultra, be it the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Yeah, this is better than them all. And sometimes you even forget you're holding something that folds. It's a strange feeling, but it's a good one. Result, it goes straight into the jeans pocket like any other phone. And if you haven't already noticed, just look at this beautiful color, aka blue shadow. I'm just taking it out in the sun and you'll know what I mean. The only thing that's kind of out of the way here is the thick camera bump, which means it wobbles like crazy on a desk. But hey, you could say it's thick in all the right places. And what's crazy is that in the thin 4.2mm frame, you get buttons that are still all tactile. It has a fast USB 3 port and this power button. It's also a fingerprint scanner. The haptics are also very nice and crisp. You get stereo speakers too. It sounds pretty good, but I did feel they could have been louder. And yes, this is more durable.
It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you.
I mean, Samsung's using the upgraded advanced armor aluminum frame and a new hinge this time. Plus, they've thickened up the ultra thin glass layer to make the foldable screen more durable. And there's also a titanium layer under the foldable screen. Now, there's only one way to judge the durability: an extreme drop.
Hey. No. No.
Look, the only way I can judge the durability here is by how confident I feel, how confident this whole design feels, and it does. I mean, the hinge is tighter and it definitely gives you the feeling that, yeah, this thing is solid. Like sometimes I even use it as a hand fan when the Yeah, this still has the IP48 rating, so still very flagship grade water resistant. The cover screen has Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2 and the back has Gorilla Glass Victus 2. Basically the same setup we saw on the S25 Edge. And yeah, this is the 6th year of Samsung selling a foldable smartphone. So I took the risk of using it without a case. I mean, it's been on my desk, my bed, my car, my washroom, everywhere, and there's no scratches. I didn't break it, so all good. But let's face it, the Fold has always been about the screens. And yeah, the Z Fold 7 now has a larger 6.5-inch AMOLED display on the outside, which is actually wider, 120Hz, 21:9 this time. And this also contributes to the whole normal phone vibe. And while it is wider, it's not too wide, and that is something I like. I mean, I've always preferred more narrow displays, even in the past. Remember the Galaxy S8 days? So this is wider, but just the right amount of wide. So typing is better. And yeah, this screen is great for almost everything. The benefit, you open the phone less, and the problem, you open the phone less, because when you do open it, you get a bigger 8-inch AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate for this tablet-like experience. I mean, that's what 90% of you would buy a folding phone for, and this screen is great, it's fantastic. But I also like how the thin frame, the curves here, make sure it's very comfortable to hold, very soft and easy on the hands. Even the crease, like most modern day foldables, is super minimal. So when I had to watch YouTube, shows on Netflix, or editing documents, multitasking, basically stuff you'd need a larger screen for, I did it on this main screen, and there's newer features too to make use of this bigger screen. For example, when using the camera app, you can view recent captures and take photos side by side. The object eraser feature has gotten better with selecting things in one tap, and you can now view the original and edited photos side by side, very useful. You can now create sketches or 3D cartoons of people and pets directly in the gallery app, and again, you can compare them side by side, which is pretty cool. And let's say you generated an image with Galaxy AI, you can drag and drop it into another app like WhatsApp directly, pretty cool. Now this big screen is also great for editing videos because you can expand or collapse the editing view across multiple layers while still seeing the video, and adding to that, the very useful audio eraser feature now works in most Samsung apps like Samsung Notes, Voice Recorder, and even works on recorded calls. Now all this is good, but there's one thing I kind of missed here. Yeah, this screen does not support the S Pen. Samsung removed the digitizer to make the whole fold experience slimmer, but yeah, kind of strange because this can replace your tablet, but it is what it is. And yes, both screens have same 2600 nits brightness as last year, and these are bright enough to use outdoors. But I did notice that when you put the phone under stress, like using the camera app a lot outdoors maybe, and the phone gets slightly warm, the screen goes dim to sort of manage the heat, similar to iPhones. Now apart from that, this is still a Samsung flagship screen. It's very punchy, vibrant, and you get all those deep blacks. Another big upgrade in the Z Fold 7 is that it finally gets a more pro-grade camera setup, and it's crazy how Samsung has managed to fit in everything in this sleek design. Yeah, the 200 megapixel camera is here with the Pro Visual Engine, so better intelligent scene optimization. And it's not like they just took the 200 megapixel camera from the S25 Ultra and just put it here. They had to re-engineer it for the slimmer design. Apart from that, the 12 megapixel ultra wide now has a larger sensor and it has autofocus, so you now get macro capabilities. The telephoto is the 10 megapixel sensor, but it's also been restructured to fit in this frame. But enough of the specs, let's see some photos. I mean, here's some shots from the primary camera, and they do seem better. They have excellent detail, the dynamic range is great, photos look really bright with good colors and HDR, and even in low light, the shots look like they've been taken from a flagship phone. And since this is 200 megapixels, you can take 2x in-sensor lossless shots, and you can also crop and reframe shots without losing details. The improved ultra-wide also captures more light, and the colors look the same as the main camera, which is important. And since this has autofocus now, you can use it to take macros as well. The 10 megapixel 3x telephoto remains the same, and it takes very balanced colors, plenty of detail, good dynamic range. Portrait shots are also very good, solid edge detection, good details on the face. And generally what I've seen is 3x photos are very nice and awesome up to 10x. Anything beyond that is a bit noisy. For selfies, there's the same 10 megapixel camera on the cover screen, and there's a new 10 megapixel camera on the inside too. Yes, that 4 megapixel under display camera is gone now, and this new camera has a 100-degree wide field of view, so more people in the frame, great for video calls. Even the selfies from these front cameras have good colors, skin tones, and overall good exposure. Now in the end, even videos are stable and high quality, and you can shoot up to 8K 30 FPS from the main camera, 4K 60 from the telephoto and ultra wide, and yes, both selfie cameras can record in 4K 60 FPS. So this brings some much needed and kind of solid upgrades to the camera front, but let's talk performance. This has the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, and you can buy it in 12GB RAM and 256 or 512GB storage, and there's also a 16GB RAM and 1TB storage variant. Now this is LPDDR5X and UFS 4.0 as you'd expect, and I also like that on pre-order you can get the 512GB variant for the price of the 256GB base variant. And we did run some benchmarks just to see how it performs, and Antutu gave us a respectable 2 million. 3D Mark stability was 57%, not the best, but in line with 8 Elite on foldables. And for thermals, Samsung using graphite sheets to control the heat. Now performance is obviously flagship grade, be it while multitasking or even when playing games. I mean, Genshin Impact was smooth on the highest settings, Wuthering Waves is good too, and the good thing was that it did not overheat or anything. Now coming to the battery, this has a 4400 mAh battery, same as the last year, and there are honestly two sides to it. On one hand, considering the phone actually lost weight, I'm thankful the battery wasn't cut down. But on the other side, with silicon carbon batteries, the fact that this has two screens, this feels a bit low. Now I know Samsung has its doubts around silicon carbon batteries, but other than that, in my 100 hours of usage of this phone, I've been getting around 4 to 5 hours of screen on time with my usual mix, like Instagram scrolling, some gaming, some YouTube, some Netflix, a mix of inner and outer screens. As for charging, it supports 25-watt wired charging and takes 1.5 hours from 0 to 100%. And yes, there is 15-watt wireless charging support here. Now this is the first Samsung phone to run One UI 8 based on Android 16 out of the box. And like I said, software is what I love a lot about the folds. Very smooth, very reliable, and it has all the fold features, be it the taskbar, the very useful multitasking gestures. You also get the flex mode. And yes, this gets the 90-10 multitasking and all those changes we saw on the One UI 8 beta we did a video on. Circle to search is also better. It now works in games, so if you can't defeat a final boss just circle on and let Google show you. And like recent Samsung flagships, this too will get 7 years of voice updates and 7 years of security patches. Lastly, for connectivity, there's no compromises. Everything Samsung could possibly give, they've given. Dual SIM slots, multiple eSIM support, NFC, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, and I've had no issues with reception or calls on this phone. Well, I honestly love the new Z Fold 7. I've always enjoyed foldables for the kind of versatility they bring, the cool vibes, but this is sort of the first foldable phone that makes me go, yeah, I want one. I mean, the changes Samsung has made with the new Z Fold 7 make it a foldable phone that does not feel like you're carrying the weight or the bulk you expect from a foldable phone. And it's not just that, it also feels refined. I don't have to take care of it, think of it as fragile, and that's honestly the bridge to cross in terms of foldables. Yes, like any other phone, this is not absolute perfection, but so far, as of now in 2025, this is my favorite phone.